Okay, everyone, it's officially 4:03. We're going to go ahead and get started today. Of course, Dr. Tindall is here. As you can see, we have our introductions in the chat if you can see those, but I'm just going to kind of let Dr. Tindall give her introduction and kind of what she wants to talk to you guys about today. As a reminder, please keep your mics muted and your video off since we are recording. We want to respect your privacy. And if anyone comes in with their camera, I'll be turning that off just, again, to respect your privacy, not to be mean. Go ahead, Dr. Tindall.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And hello, everyone. I am Dr. Natalie Tindall. I am the chair of the Department of Communication and Media here at Lamar University. And today I just really wanted to introduce myself and introduce the department to you and see if you had any questions about college in general, our department specifically, or just questions about coming to Lamar and starting as a college student, things you should know, whatever it is. I'm here to help in whatever the case may be. But just to give you a start, the Department of Communication and Media is embedded within the College of Fine Arts and Communication. And we actually have a small video that we would like to share with you so you can understand who we are and what we are. The college is the face of the university. That's what the chairs and that's what the deans always say. We are the people who are the visible components of Lamar. We are the artists, we are the dancers, we are the musicians, we are the broadcasters and the writers, and we are doing things out in the community with the deaf community through our ASL program. We are out there in the community doing things with our speech and hearing clinics. So we are very visible, not only on campus, but off campus. And I just wanted to show this small video so you can see who we are and what our college does.
Awesome. And I have both videos pulled up so I can either share my screen or Dr. Tindall, if you want to, at the bottom of your screen, you should have a share option. I wasn't sure.
That's fine.
Okay. I will go ahead and share my screen with all of you. And I will pull up. Dr. Tindall, would you like for me to go to the College of Communication first?
Yes, please.
All right, you guys.
I am somebody. And I have a voice in this world.
Let the Department of Communication and Media at Lamar University help you create your voice as a journalist and storyteller,
A business professional.
As an artist and content creator.
I am somebody.
Because I started here.
To start creating your voice, visit lamar.edu/communication.
Okay, and then we are also going to show you, if it'll let me, there we go, the video for the entire Department of Fine Arts and Communication.
Here at Lamar University's College of Fine Arts and Communication, we collaborate across disciplines that allows us to innovate and create. We focus on forward-looking programs, cutting-edge content delivered by professors who have real-time knowledge and experience. As a result, we provide our students with skill sets to be lifelong learners and enable them to improve the societies they live in.
The Department of Communication here at Lamar is focused on helping our students communicate messages to audiences, and we explore that through a variety of venues: film and theater studies, public relations, corporate communication, and journalism.
Good morning and welcome to On Campus at Lamar University here on KBLU 91.3.
University Press is the opportunity for students on campus to get a good hands-on professional experience while producing work, building a portfolio, and setting themselves up for a career in media.
In the Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences, we have a fully functioning clinic where we serve pediatrics through geriatrics in speech, language, hearing, voice, and swallowing. We integrate innovative teaching, quality clinical research, and sustained community service.
Here at the Department of Deaf Studies and Deaf Education, we have deaf and hearing students who we train to become teachers of ASL in grades K through 12, future interpreters in educational settings, and we also have graduate programs for master's and doctoral students. We have worked hard to set up a deaf world within a hearing university.
Interested in a career in art and design? Consider Lamar University. Lamar University is accredited by the National Association of Schools of Art and Design. Locally committed and globally engaged, the Department of Art prepares its students for professional careers in a supportive environment that encourages our students to maximize their creative potential. LU Art is a place to be creative.
The goal of the Dishon Art Museum at Lamar University is to educate and inspire the students, faculty, the staff, as well as the greater community by providing access to great art, artists, and ideas through challenging exhibitions and programs.
Our newly renovated Jimmy Simmons Music Building is a state-of-the-art facility with a gorgeous 200-seat recital hall and large ensemble rehearsal hall. With our dedicated faculty, first-rate students, and excellent facilities, it's no surprise that our job placement rate is just shy of 100%.
A degree in theater and dance from Lamar University will prepare you for many different fields, both in front of the stage or behind the stage, as an actor, director, designer, choreographer, or professional dancer.
So come to Lamar and join us.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions for us about the department itself, a specific major? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen in just a moment as soon as I get this back up. Here we go. You can type that into the chat if you have any questions for us. There we go. No, there we go. There we go. So if you would like to, you can go ahead and type that into the chat. If you would like to unmute your microphone, we would probably just need to be careful and not do it all at the same time. Let's see, Angelique, can you say a little bit like y'all's? Oh, yes. So education is going to be underneath a different department called Education and Human Development. We do have art education, music education, and there is a teaching certification underneath the American Sign Language track underneath Fine Arts and Communication. But those are going to be more specific to fine arts and communication rather than education as a whole, if that makes sense. We would probably be having another session on just education and human development because that is a huge part of Lamar's campus as well. But unfortunately, we're not going to have all of the information about, interdisciplinary, or if you're wanting to teach in K through 12. We're mostly just going to have those specializations in music, art, and American Sign Language. And then nursing program is also going to fall underneath arts and sciences. So that is going to be that's going to be very different and separate. I have a little bit of, just a tiny bit of background information on that, but we mostly today have information on fine arts and communication. Special education would also fall underneath education, human development. And then Dr. Tindall, I actually don't have the information on hand about our graduation rate. Would you like to talk more about that?
Sure. Our graduation rate is closely approaching 80%. We are doing a great job of getting our students out and making sure they get through their degree plans in time. One of my biggest concerns is always making sure that students don't just come here and they lag. So trying to make sure you're on schedule, trying to make sure that you are doing what you need to do so you can graduate on time is a very big concern of not only me, but also of our advisors. So we do work with all of our students to get them out on time or in a timely fashion. And so typically we graduate most of our students out. And so for some people that takes longer. Everybody can't do 4 years. Some people have to work, some people have other obligations. So we try to work with you and your schedule, but we try to push you for 4 years. If we have to do longer, we will. Did that answer your question, Simone? Just let me know in the chat if it didn't. So, Oh, great. Perfect. So does anybody have any questions about the Department of Communication and Media? One thing is that for many of our students, is it possible to study both film studies and production? Yes, you can. Film is one of our majors. It technically is a production degree, but you do get to learn film studies, film theory, and combine that into your actual practice of making films. So yes, it is possible to study both film studies and production here. One of the great things about Lamar and our program is that you can come in day one and start working on things in your field. So if you are a broadcasting student, you can come in on day one of the semester and start with LUTV. You can come in with LUTV News, which is our broadcast news function. We put out 2 news programs a week. You can come in and start working for the University Press. You can come in and start working with our public relations agency. You can start things early. So for film students, we ask and push and direct you all to learn the equipment, get involved in student shoots as fast as possible. Can you major in something else and minor in something communication related? Yes, we do have a ton of students who are minors in our department. And minoring is basically 18 hours. With the minor, you will take some basic communication courses, and then you are allowed to sort of dabble in whatever area you're interested in. So if you have an interest in film, you can take film classes in screenwriting. If you are interested in broadcasting, you can take some of those classes. If you're interested in advertising, you can take those classes. So you definitely can minor in communication. One quick thing too, a lot of students when you're coming in as a freshman, you may have to take public speaking or business and professional speech. Those 2 classes are offered by our department. One cool class that we offer is for people who have speech anxiety. And I can actually say that I'm a person who suffers from speech anxiety still to this day. And we do offer a class where you can learn how to overcome that anxiety and also become a better public speaker, because whatever your major, you will have to do public speaking and presentations all along your way in college. So it's very important and vital that you take that class sooner rather than later. The worst thing you can do is wait until you're a senior taking that freshman level class, because most people are like, darn, why did I do this now versus doing it as a freshman? I could have learned so much more. So that is one thing I would strongly encourage you to think about and consider when registering and talking to your advisors for your first semester of your freshman year. If I'm an engineering major, is it a requirement to take a communications class? It is a requirement to take a communications class, but you can choose. You have options. I would suggest taking business and professional speech or public speaking, because of the fact as an engineer, getting your point across in a technical way to non-technical people is going to be very important. Being able to explain concepts is going to be very important. Public speaking and communication, both written and oral, are some of the top skills that employers are looking for. So you need to have as much experience with that as possible. So I would strongly recommend that you, Mr. Lewis, Damon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I'm not, I apologize. But I think that having those skills are vitally important, especially for engineering majors. And we actually have some engineering majors who are minors, because they understand the value of communication and how much that is going to set them apart when they go into the workforce, and they actually can make claims, when they can actually make speeches, when they feel comfortable doing presentations, when they feel comfortable presenting themselves both orally and also in the written word. So, does theater fall under the communication department? If so, could I double major? Actually, theater is not in our department, but you can do a minor in theater. That is possible, and we work well with our theater department and our colleagues there and the advisors there to make sure that happens. So that is something that you can do if you're interested. Simone, can you give me more detail? What exactly are you interested in? And Angelique, I hope I'm pronouncing, I apologize in advance if I get your names wrong, I'm sorry. But Angelique asked the question, what is the class that helps with public speaking anxiety called? That is so cool. It actually is a public speaking class We have a professor, Mrs. Ruth Stanley, who teaches it. And we will have another professor, Mr. Andre Faber, starting to teach that in the fall and the spring of next year. You will need to ask your advisor for the class. If you are interested in taking the Speaking with Anxiety or the Public Speaking Anxiety class, talk to your advisor. Ask your advisor, I would like to take that class for people who have anxiety with public speaking. You will then have to do a test. It's not a bad test. There are no right or wrong answers, but that helps us place you in the class. But it is just a public speaking class, and it is a special section dedicated for those with speech anxiety. So if you have any questions, let me give you my email address. If you have any questions or concerns, if you want to get into the class or you're not sure what exactly the class is called or you don't remember, email me, and I just drop my email in the chat. So everyone should have that.
And Dr. Tindall, we did have one student that asked about our education majors underneath communication. Under communication, it's technically just American Sign Language that has an education teacher certification, right?
Yes. In the College of Fine Arts and Communication, the only departments that have education majors are Department of Deaf Studies, Deaf Education, Music, Art, and Theater and Dance. Those are the only departments that have education majors. We do not have an education major in our area at this time. So, Ryan, thank you. You're asking a question about journalism. Okay, so journalism is one of the key areas in our communications department. We have 6 different majors or concentrations that you can get into: advertising, broadcasting, communication studies, public relations, film studies, journalism. Oh, that's all 6. So journalism is incredibly important because that is where you learn how to write and report in a truthful way to a larger audience. Your experience that you would gather here is basically you'll have an opportunity to work with the University Press, which is our award-winning student newspaper. And they look for people to come in day one as a freshman. And we have freshmen who are constantly involved and eagerly involved right now. You will have an opportunity to work there. You will have an opportunity to work with LUTV News, which is our broadcast news angle. We want our journalism students to be multimedia. So not only understanding the printed word and not working on a printed product, but also working on the broadcast side of things as well. So that's incredibly important for us. Your experience here is something that you can't necessarily get at other institutions. Many places, they want you to wait your turn. So when you become a junior, then you can start doing this. When you become a sophomore, you can start doing this. Here at Lamar, we want you to start getting your experience. We want you to start building your portfolio. We want you to start your networking as soon as you get to campus, as soon as you meet your professors, as soon as you figure out what you want to do. So that's one great thing about what we're doing. So as a journalism major, the doors are wide open for you. We do have a small but mighty staff at our newspaper, and those students have gone on to great internships and great jobs. And that's a great thing to have in their back pocket. We also have journalism majors who've gone on and decided to go to graduate school and study political science or different things. So as a journalism student, you will get the experience of knowing how to report, your basics for reporting. Box. Yes, you can do a major communication with a major in communication, concentration, journalism, and minor in theater. Theater is a great opportunity for you to practice those performance and public speaking skills as well. And there's great opportunities there. So we'd love to have you come to Lamar and actually minor in that. And if in any way possible, send me an email if we can help out. If you have any questions or any concerns, definitely. So like I was saying, we have 6 different majors in our department. And, oh, thank you. I like my shirt too. This is our communication shirt, and it actually has a definition of communication on it. And I think I know who Nina is, but hi, Nina. Thank you so much for liking my shirt. So we have 6 different majors here, and let me just go over them. So advertising is basically understanding how to persuade people to purchase and consume goods or change behaviors. So really in advertising, we get into visual identity and brand management and marketing communication. How exactly do you brand a new product? What exactly do you do in those fields? Broadcasting is basically radio, television, production, direction, and storytelling. So how do you tell stories through a visual medium or through an oral medium? In terms of film studies, this is where we're looking at film production. We're looking at aesthetics. We're looking at moving image studies. We're looking at how exactly do people compose a film? What goes into the practice of filmmaking? Why are people choosing to do certain things? Why does this director choose to have this look versus this director? What are their influences? So looking at that. In our communication studies degree, which is one of our newest programs, this is an interdisciplinary degree where we look at interpersonal communication and rhetoric and persuasion. Students who go into communication studies are students who are thinking about maybe graduate studies or wanting to go into banking or the ministry or other things that necessarily don't fit into the other tracks that we offer. Public relations is also one of our newest degrees, and this is my field and my area of expertise. This is about basically relationship building and management. How do we help people in crisis? How do we help build and repair relationships? How do we communicate to our audiences and our stakeholders and our publics? And journalism as well, fact-based news and investigative reporting. And then I think that's everything. I covered all 6 of them. So that's what we do in our department. So as you can tell, our department is very concerned and very motivated by messaging. We're concerned about, or our goal is to develop students who can communicate well and communicate to an audience. We want to help develop and nurture effective communicators who have strong critical thinking and creative problem-solving skills. That is the goal of our department. So everyone may not come out with a journalism degree and go directly into journalism, but with the skills you learn in our department, you are better able to go out into the marketplace and go find a job or go into graduate school and use those skills to help you build the career that you want or the life that you want. And that's one of the goals that we have. Oh, 10 more minutes are left. Dang, 10 more minutes are left?
We're actually right about 8:45 right now, 8 minutes, 45 seconds. It goes by so fast. But I just want to let y'all know so you could get any questions that you might have.
How big are communication classes? That's a very good question. Some of our freshman classes are very big. For example, everyone in the core has to take a creative arts class. And so our introduction to film appreciation class can be about 75 people. That's huge. But normally most of our classes, especially when we get down deep into the major, are between 10 to 20 students. Sometimes it's 5. Currently I'm teaching a PR cases and campaigns class, and there's 10, 11 students in that class. So when you get into your major, regardless of what major you take, you will see that the classes get narrower and you see that it's more refined and you have more one-on-one time with your professors. So that's the great thing about our department, is that even though we are big, we have 245 majors in our department, our classes remain small and you will know your professors one-on-one. Okay, sorry, wait, when is the next online meeting? That's a good question. I have no idea. Rebekah, when is the next meeting online?
I was actually just trying to find that out, especially if you're not worried about a specific major. I was trying to find out like where we could get you a schedule for that. I want to say it's on our website. I just completely blanked for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's on our website though, where you can find out more information about these next upcoming sessions. And then April, some places students have interned or gotten jobs. Oh, and April did put it into the chat. Lamar.edu/visit is where you can see the upcoming Zoom calls.
And Nina posted it. It's the information on the upcoming calls are posted on the social media. So if you go to the social media site, you'll get it from there, and also the website for the other weeks. So April, in terms of where students have interned and gotten jobs, we have students who work on campus. There are students who are currently working in the Office of Marketing Communication for the university, who work in the Office of Recruitment, students who work at LIT. We have some students who are working for the different public school systems within the city of Beaumont. We have students who are working in the Port Arthur News and also in the Beaumont Enterprise. We have students who are working at the news stations here in town, but also at the news stations in Houston. We do have students at the Houston Chronicle. Our students, our graduates, let me say this, our alumni, the reach is wide. We have students who are all the former students who are all the way in Seattle working in some of the large stations there. We have some people who are actually doing broadcasting for NBC Sports. It's just a range of people where they're working. So we do have a really great alumni base to pull from if you have any questions or have any concerns or we need to network. But just know that Lamar's reach is wide and vast, and our goal is to make sure that you are prepared to do those internships, whether they're locally at the Beaumont Enterprise or at the New York Times or at BET, where we've had students intern as well. So, any other questions?
While I have it on me and while I can remember, if you're interested in seeing the admission social media where we're posting the information on these calls, on Instagram, it's Lamar U Admissions, and on Facebook, I'm pulling it up right now. It's going to be, oh shoot, I just had it. It's Lamar Admissions. If you search, it'll pop up, and you can find the sections for each session that we're going to be having and that are upcoming. And we're at 4 minutes, so you got it.
So Nina asked a question, what is my favorite part of the communications building? Well, I think the student lounge that we have in our building is one of the best lounges on campus, is one of the best spaces on campus. We are probably one of the most student-friendly buildings on campus, and that's a proud fact that I like to brag on. We want our students to feel like they're at home in our department. And so we hope that the student lounge and the other things that we have allow for that. Also, my other favorite parts, we do have podcasting labs. We have blogging labs. We have a multimedia room where we can set up for different functions and also for different recordings. We love our students and we want them to produce and to develop their skills and abilities. So anything that allows them to do that, those are the rooms that I love. So, any other questions? I hope I haven't been boring. And hopefully some of you all have learned something about the department, but if you are in another major, I strongly encourage you, think about communication as a minor. You cannot go wrong with communication as a minor. Does the program accept everyone? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. You still have to meet the standards for the university.
I was about to say, I can get that one. Lamar University doesn't require students to apply to the program separately from the admissions, except for nursing. Nursing is the only program where you later on going into junior year have to apply separately. But for communications, fine arts and communications, if you are accepted to the university and meet our university requirements, you are accepted to the department.
Right. Well, again, if anybody has any questions, if you are a major from another area, think about communications as a minor. You have my email address. The department is on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook, and we are very active on all of those.
No, because I missed what you said.
Oops, just somebody dropped in here. But anyway, we're on all those channels. Also, I want to say, if you are still in high school, we do have a high school film race that's going on right now. It is a horror film race. So if you and your friends would like to develop a horror movie while responsibly social distancing yourself, please do that. You can submit that still. It's open from April 1st to April 30th. So please consider submitting to that, definitely. Any final questions or thoughts, Rebekah? This has been fun. I appreciate you all coming out. It's 4 o'clock on a Monday. There are other places you could be.
I was about to say, this was really great. It hit the nail on the head for everything. I'm an alum of the department. That was very like perfect. That was on point for everything that I would have said or that I tell students about the communication department. And it's universal. You use communications pretty much, you use communications everywhere, including engineers, computer science. The better you can communicate and the better you can reach across to other people, the better you are at your job. So it's very universal. It's a wonderful position to be in.
Yeah. So again, it's less than a minute. If anybody has any questions or anything else you'd like to follow up with me, feel free. I'm dropping my email again, ntindall@lamar.edu. That's the best way to reach me. Again, we are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just look for Lamar Communication Department. We are very active. You can always DM or private message us there, and I always answer the messages. So don't worry about that. So
I was about to say, that's it, everyone. Thanks for coming out.
yeah.
We'll keep you posted on when these next sessions are happening so you can keep coming in and getting more information about Lamar and hopefully more about the communication department as well, since this was a wonderful session. So thanks for coming out.
Thank you all so much again. Have a good night or a good afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.